Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 35 of Big Brother Season 23, and welcome to Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. Okay, we've had 24 hours where we get to start seeing some of the repercussions of the Blindside plan. It took effect on Monday when Brittany pulled herself off with her veto, pulled herself off the block. Derek X put the Blindside into play by putting Christian up in her place. So now we've got Christian on the block up against Sarah Beth. Is it a foregone conclusion that one or the other is going home? Not necessarily. They're still a little waffling back and forth, but it's looking like Christian is probably the one that's going to go home. Maybe about 7-2 votes, something like that. But it's going to be exciting. Like, Christian spent all day campaigning. Alyssa said she wasn't going to campaign for him, but of course she did. We knew she would. But Christian has been doing a lot of campaigning throughout the day. So with that in mind, let's start talking about some of the feeds that happened overnight. First of all, in the backyard, Christian and Brittany are in the backyard. I think they're in the hammock. And now remember, Christian thinks that he's got Brittany's vote this week to save him. They've got a final two together. And so he really is trusting Brittany to not only vote to save him, but also help convince others to do a little legwork for him. So with that in mind, Christian is talking to Brittany and saying, look, can you talk to Azah again? Can you sell her on the plan? I don't know which way Azah's going. She probably could make the difference. Well, this plan, and we talked about yesterday, is basically that Christian, if possible, would throw the HOH. If he couldn't do that, if he ended up winning it, he would give all the benefits of the HOH to the jokers. Let them stay up there the whole time by themselves. They could have everything in his basket. And he's doing what he can, making promises where he can to try to get their vote. So that's the plan, and he's wanting Brittany to go talk to Azah about it and just convince her to vote to save him. But the reality, Brittany, even though he thinks she has Brittany's, even though he thinks that he has Brittany's vote, Brittany really right now is planning not to vote to save Christian, to send him home instead. And she is simply waiting for Azah to tell Christian first that she too is not going to be voting to save Christian. And Brittany wants that so that then Brittany can approach Christian and say, look, I would have saved you. You know, we're tight and all of that. But if the votes aren't there, I have to vote with the house. So it's not my fault. It's not my fault, Christian. Even though she really is leaning that direction anyway, she's just waiting for Azah. But she tells Christian, says, yeah, let me see what I can do. We hear there's a theme throughout the evening. Everyone has really gotten to the point they're trying to avoid Christian as much as possible. I think Brittany at one point in the evening says, yeah, Christian's pulled me aside 8 different times tonight. Tiffany's going to talk about Christian continually grabbing her. Azah's wanting to hide away from Christian. Christian's, is there such a thing as campaigning too hard? Yeah, sometimes. If you get to the point where you're saying the same things over again, where you just become an irritant instead of actually offering benefits to the person, then yes, you start becoming enough of annoyance that sometimes people just say, I'm tired of it. I made my mind up just so you'll leave me alone. That's a danger that Christian is facing right now. We've got a lot of the evening. Again, the house guests are really trying to avoid the campaigning and such this early in the week. I'm sure most of them would rather wait until right up beforehand before they have to do anything. And so because of that, they're trying to avoid doing anything really strategic gameplay. They're just laying out. They're taking it easy, having fun. We had a big blue couch show. The house guests were practicing a lot of British, French, African accents, talking in pidgin, pidgin, I think that's how it's pronounced. Derek taught them some Chinese words. So just hanging out together and trying to avoid having to talk about game as much as possible. Excuse me. So a lot of that happening for a large portion of the evening. We do have a couple of conversations after that, or during that even. Christian and Alyssa are hanging out together, the no man showmans. Christian is saying that he talked to Azah, and Azah said that she just needs more time to consider his plan, and he thinks that's such a good sign. No, it's not a good sign, Christian. When someone says, yeah, let me think about it, let me sleep on it, what they're really saying is, look, I don't want to tell you right now that I'm not going to vote for you. I'm putting you off as long as possible. So, yeah, Azah's saying she's going to think about it. That's not as good a sign as Christian's thinking. But he's the optimist, right? He's the eternal optimist. So he thinks that's a fantastic sign. We've got Brittany and Azah talking together. Brittany is worried about the eviction this week. Brittany just is always going to worry about something, right? She is worried about the eviction. She's saying if she hadn't won veto, that Sarah Beth would be going home. And that is a possibility that it could have turned out that way. When you're on the block, you always have to fight for the veto. You always have to win and pull yourself off if you do. She can't be having misgivings or be worried that she did the right thing with that, right? Well, apparently she is a little bit. She's saying she hadn't won. Sarah Beth would probably be going home, and that she feels like right now she is potentially voting someone out, Christian, that saved her. I'm not really sure what she means by saving her, but someone that saved her. Certainly someone that she's got a little bit of a crush on, and someone that she's got a final two with. And instead, she's keeping someone that was targeting her, and she is very nervous that if she does save Sarah Beth, what's going to keep Sarah Beth from just putting Brittany on the block the following week? Perhaps against Derek F. or Ozza, something like that. So we're seeing, as I mentioned before, it sounds like it could potentially be a 7-2 vote to send Christian out the door, with Alyssa and Xavier being those two votes that vote Sarah Beth out instead. And that seems like a big majority, right? And like, an overwhelming consensus. But we keep hearing some misgivings from a few people in the House that make me think that it's not a done deal just yet. There is a possibility in the next 36 hours or whatever we've got left that all it really may take is one person flipping and suddenly a bunch of other people join on board as well. So nothing's absolute just yet. And we hear that with Brittany saying, am I doing the right thing? Am I really sending out, saving someone that's potentially going to turn right around and go after me? Ozza is telling Brittany that she'll vote however Brittany wants, that she's tired of being chased down by Christian and all that. She'll vote however Brittany wants. Brittany better hope that Christian never hears that, because if Christian knows that Oz's vote depends on Brittany's, he may be there talking Brittany even more so than he's already doing. But that's what Ozza is doing, is she's just absolving herself of any responsibility, turning her vote over to Brittany instead. And Brittany is revealing that Christian has a new plan Z. And this was talked about apparently a little bit earlier in the day. Christian is going to tell Tiffany and I think Claire as well that Kyland and Sarah Beth have an agreement that if they win, one of them wins the grand prize, the $750,000, that they've already agreed they're going to split the money with each other. Well, first of all, that's not true. They haven't said that. They haven't agreed to it that we've seen. Second of all, the Big Brother rules specifically state that you can't do that, and you can't make any discussion or talk about doing anything like that. And three, even if they had said something like that, even if they had made some kind of agreement, why would they tell Christian? Why would they tell anyone that they had such an agreement in place? So, yeah, I don't know that anyone's going to buy his plan Z, but he's very proud of it, and he's planning to use that to create even more paranoia, concern with Tiffany, with the hope that Tiffany and Claire will then see that as yet another reason why Sarah Beth has to head out the door. I don't think that's going to work. If Sarah Beth goes home, it's not going to be because of Christian's plan Z, but he's going to throw it out there. Yeah, why not? Yeah, you take your Hail Mary passes and hope for the best. Claire is talking to the cameras alone, and she's saying that she actually kind of wishes that Sarah Beth was going home. Again, we're hearing people say, I may vote Christian out, but I'm kind of thinking, is that the right thing to do? She just soon sees Sarah Beth go home, which I thought was interesting. Claire wants the next OH as well, so that she can get power, which is always important, but also she wants it so she can have one-on-ones and get information from other people and get a better feel for what's going on in the house. But she is also a little bit worried what will happen if what she'll do what Kyland will do if he wins HOH. She's afraid that Kyland could go after Sarah Beth. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense, right? Sorry, guys. I missed something on that. Never mind. My notes. It's been a long night. These house guests never went to bed tonight. Not all of them. But no, she's worried that if she did get HOH, if she got the power, if she put Sarah Beth up on the block, that Kyland would then consider Claire as a huge target and go back after her. So that's her concern, is how Kyland would respond if Claire went after Sarah Beth. And she's saying maybe instead of Sarah Beth, I would nominate Derek F. instead to keep Kyland away from me. Well, you got to nominate two people. There's a veto. You sometimes have to nominate three people. After this week, we're going to have, 11 people in the house. You start running out of targets when you have these huge, big alliances, as these house guests are getting ready to find out. We've got Brittany and Derek X talking in the HOH room. Brittany is worried, again, Brittany is worried that if Sarah Beth wins HOH, that she'll nominate Brittany as punishment for Brittany not throwing the veto competition. Apparently, I've mentioned this before. Apparently, Sarah Beth really was trying to convince Brittany to throw the veto to Sarah Beth. And I don't know how you convince someone not to fight for your own safety, but not only did she try to do it, but now Brittany's worried that because she didn't do it, that Sarah Beth's going to come after her. What a horrible reason to come after someone. You can't hold it against anyone who's fighting for their safety in the house if they don't throw a veto to you, right? But Brittany's worried about it, and maybe there's something to that. We will find out. Derek X, though, is saying, no. If Sarah Beth gets HOH, she's going to go after her former teammates, which, if Christian's gone, means either Xavier or Alyssa. I just don't know that I completely see it, especially with Xavier. Now, Alyssa and Christian do still believe that even though it's Derek X's HOH, that this whole idea of a backdoor was the thinking and the planning of Sarah Beth and Kyland. They think that they're the masterminds behind Derek X this week, and they hold them responsible. So Derek X saying that Sarah Beth will go after her former teammates. Maybe if Sarah Beth thinks that Alyssa and Christian or Alyssa and Xavier are going to come after her, then maybe so. Maybe she will go after them first, just to avoid being a target. So maybe Derek X has something to that. But anyway, he's telling Brittany, saying, "Now you're not the main target if Sarah Beth gets HOH." Derek X also mentions that he's fine with that. He's fine if Alyssa and Xavier want to blame Kyland and Sarah Beth instead of him for everything that happened in Derek X's HOH run. Derek X saying, "Hey, go for it. I hope they go after each other. Leave me alone." Yeah, it's going to be amazing if Derek X actually does pull off this blindside, gets one of the stronger players out of the house, and he doesn't get any blood on his hands because everyone's so busy going after each other. Well played, Derek. There, yeah, well, that'll be great. It's something fantastic for his resume and for going forward. All right, we've got Derek X and Kyland talking. Kyland is saying that he's not going to stop cuddling Sarah Beth because he truly believes that if they're targeted, that she's going to be a target first before him. Yeah, wow, that's kind of a callous statement to say, right? That, hey, my duo here, yeah, what they'll go after her first. So I'm not going to stop cuddling just because I'm pretty super confident about the cookout protecting me and making sure that I'm safe before Sarah Beth. He may not be wrong. I mean, he does have the protection of the cookout, but it's still quite the statement to be throwing out there that, yeah, she can go first, and why should I stop cuddling? Well, there you go. We'll see. That may be a statement that I replay at some point in the future and say, yeah, well, it came back to bite you, didn't it? We've got Claire talking to Brittany and Azah. She's telling Brittany that she ought to tell, because Brittany is talking about how she just keeps getting captured by or grabbed by Christian and campaigned against. So Claire's saying, look, you ought to just talk to Christian, pull back that yes vote that he thinks you got, and say that I'm going to have to go with the HOH. The HOH is wanting you gone. I can't vote against the HOH, so I'm sorry, Christian, but it is what it is. So she's wanting Brittany to go ahead and declare how she's going to vote. I don't know that you need to declare this early, but I get why she's offering to. Again, it's funny that both Claire and Brittany have expressed regrets about sending Sarah Beth out the door, and yet here's Claire telling Brittany to go ahead and just cut the cord and tell him he's out the door. Amazing how the game of Big Brother plays out, right? All right, we've got Tiffany talking to Brittany. She's got all right. Now Tiffany is upset as well. It's not just Brittany and Azah that feel like they've been getting chased down by Christian all day long. Tiffany is tired of Christian talking to her. She says that Christian is under the mistaken impression that Tiffany is the swing vote, that it's all up to Tiffany at the end of the day on whether Christian stays or not. So she's telling Brittany that she's going to tell Christian that he doesn't have Brittany's vote, so that he'll stop bothering Tiffany asking for her vote. That's the last thing that Brittany wants, is to have Tiffany saying something like that to Christian. Tiffany says, I'm about ready to tell him that he doesn't have anybody's votes, just so he'll leave me alone. Tiffany is also complaining. She is saying it is not fair that I am considered a swing vote in Christian's eyes just because all you jokers, because this is Brittany and Azah and Derek F. all in the room, saying just because you jokers have convinced him or kind of falsely promised your votes to Christian, now he thinks I'm the swing vote because he thinks he's got all y'all's votes. And that's not fair. I don't like it. And that's why she's going to say that he doesn't have Brittany's vote. And she's basically going to throw the jokers under the bus to some degree. And that does not go well with the jokers, in particular with Azza and Derek F. Derek F is responding by saying, look, Christian has already said that he has your vote, Tiffany, and Claire's vote. And Tiffany saying, I've told him he does not have my vote. But I don't know if she's told him that actually or not. But Derek F's kind of biting back and saying, nah, he's already said he's got your vote. I don't know why he keeps bothering you if that's the case. Derek F also finally just says, look, I haven't decided which way I'm voting. I may vote to save Christian for all you know. But I'm going to play the game that's best for Derek F. I don't care about any alliances in it. I'm voting the way I need to vote. I'm just tired of hearing it. Derek F is fed up. He spends the rest of the night kind of complaining about the whole situation. And Tiffany comes back. She says, you can't do that, Derek F. You need to vote as a house. You don't want to be on the wrong side of that vote. You can't go off and be making your own decisions on this. You have to vote for the house. And Derek F especially doesn't like that particular comment. After Tiffany leaves, Azza starts complaining about the way Tiffany talks to her, says, we just play the game differently. Look the way she's talking. I just don't like it. And later, Derek F he starts off talking to the cameras themselves, saying he needs Sarah Beth to win HOH and send Tiffany home. Now, that's a surprise. That's a turn, isn't it? He's ready to get Tiffany out the door. And he continues to gripe about it to Azza later a lot. Derek F really spends the rest of the night saying, Tiffany, I'm tired of it. You can go home. I don't care about the alliance. I don't care about anything. You need to go home. At one point, he says, yeah, we may have this cookout alliance, but Tiffany's at the very bottom of it. It's the first time I've really seen Tiffany kind of exposed. I mean, she's playing the game. We've always worried that maybe she's playing just a little too hard. And now with her kind of pushing or pressuring the jokers to declare that they're not going to vote for Christian and take some of the pressure off of her, they've seen through it. They don't want to be the people responsible for doing that. And Derek F in particular has just had enough of Tiffany and Azza. We'll see where this goes. This could be one of these wedges in that group that some people have been waiting to see. I don't know. I think there is something to it. We'll just see. We'll just see if Derek F actually is willing to match his griping with actual actions if he was to get HOH on down the road. That's a big question, right? But he's certainly upset with Tiffany, and Tiffany has not done herself any favors this evening. Azza is telling Derek F that Tiffany knows little about what's going on, and that's why she's working so hard and all that. Tiffany knows a whole lot more that's going on than any of those jokers do. She's been running this game for so long. Jokers don't realize that. She may not be running it for much longer, though, if she isn't careful. And then finally, Derek F saying Tiffany's at the very bottom of the cookout alliance. We've also got Derek X asking Hannah if Tiffany, here you go again, that's just the theme of that. Derek X is talking to Hannah and says, look, did Tiffany tell you to find your person in the game? Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I don't know where Derek X came up with that information, if he just figured it out or what, but we're hearing Derek X also starting to vocalize that maybe Tiffany has a lot more power and influence in this game than Tiffany wants people to hear about. Keep all this in mind, guys. It could change this whole game here pretty quickly. Derek X finally is talking to the cameras, saying that Kyland told him that he doesn't want to be in a final two with a girl, and he's just playing up his relationship with Sarah Beth as a way to keep him and Derek X from being on the block together. That if he and Sarah Beth look so tight, if anyone wants to target that side of the house, they'll put Kyland and Sarah Beth up, and Kyland's fine with that. Let Sarah Beth go home. We've already heard him say, I'll cuddle, whatever. Let Sarah Beth go home. What he doesn't want is for anyone to think that Kyland and Derek X are the tightest duo and put the two of them up together. I'm not sure I completely buy it. I think Kyland has a tighter connection with Sarah Beth than he's letting on to Derek X. He's kind of playing Sarah Beth and Derek X and creating two tight duos. Somewhere down the road, you may have to pick one or the other. Have you ever had to make up your mind? Pick one and leave the other behind, kind of. So I don't completely buy it. But sounds like Derek X thinks he and Kyland are the tight ones, and Sarah Beth's just kind of the third wheel on this deal. And with that, guys, and then finally Derek X says that he really wants to protect Kyland, who is now third on his list, behind Hannah, who is his top pick, and then Tiffany would be his second kind of final two choice, and then finally Kyland as well. So there you have it, guys. Couldn't win tonight. The house guests, there's still a couple. Kyland was up doing some punishment sandwiches, still just staying up. Couldn't outlast the house guests tonight. A few of them still up, but I'm calling it quits. Y'all have a fantastic Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens on the last night of campaigning before the eviction vote. It may get kind of interesting. But y'all guys have a fantastic Wednesday. I will see y'all again tomorrow. Cheers, my friends. SKD 143. Bye.